and welcome. I am Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 11. I'm excited today to be reviewing the next two episodes of Season 2, Deflectors and Identity Part 1. So we'll be just doing one part of Identity today, and the next part will be next week.
I know
And
it's kind of great. Well, it's sad. It's like okay, it's sad we have to wait a week to watch the second part, but it's great to go off on a cliffhanger.
right, I was thinking, that's going to be kind of fun. So, how are you doing here today, Pop Culture?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely great. I have a day off from work, so I'm gonna be. I just moved recently. Today's gonna be my day to set up my server here because I still have it in a box. Of course, now my phone rings. I'll let them leave a voicemail. But I'm gonna set up my server today, so I'm excited. I'll have access to all my files.
All
And
right.
how
Okay,
are
so
you
you're gonna be
doing?
really ready to get your channel rolling then, huh?
Oh yeah. In fact, oh yeah, I bought a little desk and everything. So I'm gonna start doing,
Sweet.
especially live streams. I need to do more of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember your live streams. I didn't get to participate, but this time I will.
Well, I'll try to make them during times where you can attend.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. That sounds really great.
Yeah, exactly. How are you doing?
And if I'm doing pretty, I'm doing pretty good. Have got some allergies today, and I'm a little
Oh,
sleepy, which is why I'm sorry, everyone, if I have anybody out there waiting that I had to put it off a little bit. But we're here now, and if you haven't resubbed to Pop Culture's channel, you really should do that.
I'm gonna whoever this is calling me back. I'm gonna mute just for a moment.
Okay, okay, not a problem at all. I can do my little introduction here, and I hope anyone who is listening is having a good day. And there's Pop Culture Curators.
And it was the wrong number. Thank you for putting that link in there. I
Yes, you're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Yeah, maybe someone will see that and remember they were subbed and they need to sub again.
Yes, and I need to get another video posted tonight, so that reminds me.
Cool. So we review two episodes of the Orville every week on Tuesday at noon, or when I can.
Around there.
Yeah, around there. And the coolest part is by the time we're done with these episodes, we'll have the first episode of the Orville season 3 on Hulu. And season 4 has not yet been renewed, but I believe season 4 will happen when we give all of our attention and support to season 3. And I've been watching JP's Talking the Orville shows, and he just put up a very hopeful sounding video. He can't say anything, but from the
Right.
tone of his voice and the words he is saying, it sounds to me like he knows that we're going to get a season 4, and possibly they might even announce a season 5.
I
So
sure hope so.
yeah, I sure hope so too. It's not definite, but when I used to watch his videos, he used to be like, "Well, if we don't get a season 4, they plan on making movies." But no, this time he didn't make any indication to those movies. He was all talking about a 4, maybe 5. So things are looking up in terms of that. Just based on reading his energy and his positivity.
Oh, that would be so great. That's exciting to hear.
Mhm. And and so we officially also have 23 days until season 3. So we'll be all done with season 2 by then.
Yeah, there's a lot of people excited. There's actually a lot of buzz on Twitter. I'm not that
I
big into social media, but I see a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm making sure to join that conversation when I see it and to share out what I see as far as that's concerned. And just completely ignore, like, I'll complain about, the new Trek here on YouTube, but I'm not going to give start new Trek any metrics on Twitter as much as I can.
There you go. Yes, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. And so this was the bridge, and this is going to be the new bridge. So we'll see how that goes.
Very nice.
And Tom Constantino posted this. I thought this would just look cool.
It is. That's really great. Great attention to detail.
Yes, exactly. So let's get right into the episodes then.
Okay.
So this first episode is Deflectors. This episode first aired on February 14th, 2019. So on Valentine's Day, of course, they have a romantic episode. It was written by David A. Goodman and directed by Seth MacFarlane. And even though I really like this episode, the review for it will seem a little bit shorter than normal because there's less to say about it.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of this episode. It's
Mhm.
if Dalek was here, I would say it's very soap opera-ish. Yes,
It is, but
it is.
it is. But it also builds upon the Mocklin culture, so at least adds something character-wise,
Yes.
even if it is kind of tearing them down, well, even more than they already were. Kelly and Cassius are on the holodeck set, uh, on a date set right after the moment of the end of World War II. And Kelly, the whole scene is just about Kelly breaking up with him. She's ironically portraying the same traits that Ed did that helped lead to their divorce.
Yes.
Somehow subtly saying, "Hey, Ed and Kelly were meant for each other." At least that's what it looks like.
Well, and he wants to continue the relationship,
Mhm.
but she's basically in no hurry to get married again.
Right,
You know.
right. He wants to get married and do all these things and
Well,
spend more
he's a
time to
teacher.
each
He
other.
probably right. He's a teacher. He probably wants to get
Uh,
married and have kids.
right, he does. He absolutely does.
Yes.
And she doesn't. And
Right. Exactly.
she doesn't want to work less, and
I think she's
that
thinking
it's
about her
just
career, right? Her future. See how
right,
she's looking
right.
off like
She's
that? That's what it is,
uh
right? And
she's
she
just
really
like,
was.
if I
Yeah.
get caught up in this, I'm never gonna have my own ship.
Yep. Exactly.
So so uh, um so they're here with the Mocklin ship, and
Which looks like a dustbuster.
yeah, the the
Modified.
shuttle the shuttle is a lot cooler looking than
I
the
bought a
actual
new
ship.
mouse that just arrived yesterday that looks like that shuttle.
It's got the lights too, huh?
It even has the lights and it has that side that looks just like that where you can see it's glowing on the left where the yellow is. Yeah. It looks
Yeah,
like the
I
front of
wouldn't
the
mind a
mouse right there.
Mocklin shuttle mouse.
No, that would be cool. It's a nice design.
Looks ergodynamic.
Yeah.
And Ed thanks Captain Redchick for bringing them this Mocklin engineer Lokar for their deflector upgrade. They're getting some upgrades to their deflectors. And he just happens to be Bortus's ex-boyfriend, because this is the second romantic subplot. There's 3 of them, I think, this episode.
Right, and this is where it's like okay, we got it's this again. It's
Hmm.
like that's
Yeah,
what
but you got
crossed
to
our
remember
minds.
this episode. Their excuse is that this episode was released on Valentine's Day.
Oh, I know. Yes, thank you.
I mean,
That
I
did help.
kind of
I had forgotten about that. Thank you.
yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, I know. I was groaning too, and then I was like, "Oh, what date is this? This is Valentine's Day." Okay.
Well, by the way, I like this show, but they really need to fire whoever does the music because it's just droning, which is not very
Who
interesting.
did
I mean,
who did the
if
music on this one?
I don't
Okay,
know, I just pick
we're talking about that.
every scene. I mean, when there's action, it's appropriate. It's like action in space, things like that, and the pace picks up. But when you interact between scenes, especially when they fade from one scene to another, it is exactly like General Hospital or All My Children or Days of Our Life. The music,
Okay,
it's very very soap opera. It's just
but it made the music and identity sound that much cooler.
I just miss the days. I'm a fan of the TOS Star
Uh-huh.
Trek, and the music would always either left it on a cliffhanger or a high note or an anticipation or
Well,
something.
you know what? TOS always had the best music, so that's true.
It
So
did,
the composer here is Andrew Cotty, and yeah, he worked. He didn't really. I don't really see any TV
well,
credits here.
like when they like here's a good example when they say when they introduce the new character and then we figure it's an ex boyfriend and the music literally groans it goes and then it fades to the next scene.
Well, it's groaning like we are then.
That's what I'm saying, which is not really I don't know it doesn't help. But every scene does that. The music, if you pay attention to how the fade, I guess it's like a fade out music. It's just like a moan.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, here we go to the next scene. Oh, here we go to the next scene. I don't know. It just doesn't have a heartbeat, but I don't know.
Yeah,
That's me.
I think you're gonna see the contrast between the music. I'm sure you did see the contrast between the music in this episode and how much better it gets in Identity.
Oh,
And,
yes, when the pace
and
picks up, yes.
good afternoon to LDG.
Hello, LDG. Good to see you again.
Yeah, so cool to see you. Hope you're having a good afternoon. And I I did I did like watching that big computer mouse land in the shuttle bay. I think it looked pretty cool.
Oh, the reason why I ordered the mouse is because it was it came highly recommended from Dalek 451.
Oh
I
wow.
had yeah,
Okay.
I had been shopping around for one. I hadn't really decided, and then I was listening to one of his streams last week, and he was talking about the new mouse that he got that he liked, and I asked him to
Hmm.
send the link, and I looked at it, and I thought that is pretty cool, so I ordered the same one, and here it is. It is nice.
Very cool. And Lokar and Lamar are working on getting a fifth graviton generator to the deflector. And Lamar says in the manual that it can only have 4, but Lokar counters that he wrote that manual, which reminds me of a time with Jordy and Scotty when they were
Yes,
working together
exactly.
to save the
Relics.
Enterprise.
Yeah,
Yeah, I immediately was thinking of Relics. So I have this.
my favorite G episode.
So
Forget it. I wrote it. A good engineer is always a wee bit conservative, at least on.
Oh, I miss James Doohan.
yeah, me too. Like I just had to clip that in there, and luckily someone put it on YouTube for me, so that made that easy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
It's-
that was great.
You're welcome. So that scene reminded me of that. And Bortus is having dinner with his family, and Clyden actually asks about Lokar, and Lokar actually shows up, wanting to be friends. It's like, all right,
Very awkward. Yes.
yeah, super, super. Then, then they're getting ready to test the deflectors, but then, oh, Gordon is curious if Mocklin stab each other when they're done when they break up, um, from being in a relationship like they do for a divorce. But instead of any knives or anything, they exchange their teeth, and I thought this was really weird. Um, so if you have too many boyfriends before you get married, you won't have any teeth left.
Better pull him from the back, I guess, huh?
Right? I don't know. Unless I was thinking the teeth might grow back like sharks, but because we don't know anything about biology.
And we haven't seen the inside of the mouth. We don't know how many teeth they have.
Right, right,
What is
right.
it?
Have you ever seen Coneheads?
Right, cone heads, and the fact that the Mocklins could eat anything. Maybe he has rows of teeth like a shark.
Hmm. Right. And those kind of things would make sense, but also would have been cool if the writers would have thought about that. Maybe they're saving that for later.
Right. So if you ever meet an old toothless Mocklin, you know why.
And so and of course Mocklins will test deflectors using real weapons on the Orville. I mean, there's no indication that it's only a simulation. So,
Well, they had it planned, didn't they? That's the reason why they upgraded the weapons. Now they're testing them out.
yeah, they upgraded the deflectors.
Yes.
And
Just
so
in
they're
time
using
too for next week's episode. But I don't want to give away
right,
too much.
right, exactly. And so the test turns out pretty good, and it's a big success because when the emitters buckle, they reset, and that prevents the shield failure. That's a pretty extreme test, but that's the best way to know it's really working, I guess, because a simulator could miss something. And then Jenny makes cupcakes with little Orvilles on them, and they're really cute, and I want some. Lieutenant Dan's gonna have some. He's pretending he's a tractor beam. And there's also cookies. Lots of treats in both of these episodes. Lokar tells Tala that he is attracted to her and that he's attracted to females in general. Revealing this would imprison him for life on Moklis. So if About a Girl was about Measure of a Man, then this one is an homage to The Outcast, where in both cases you have two people in a relationship that is forbidden for one of them. And, you know, there are still places here on Earth where someone can get killed for being the wrong orientation. And so while Mechlins aren't that extreme, that's pretty close. And it's pretty tough because I like the design and personality of the Mechlins, but
Yeah, so do I. Yes.
But their culture is a little bit different. Their excuse is that they had to tie themselves to their traditions due to being on a very barren world.
Yes.
So I don't know. And after some time to think about it, she decides to give a relationship with him a try, but she doesn't realize that someone is following them. And I wanted to get a clip of Isaac doing a joke here, but I'm going to make you guys go watch it. He does the most hilarious joke ever in this entire episode. Yeah. It's a really good one. So go watch the Orville, but not right now, after this.
Absolutely. Highly recommended.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to say I don't like to spoil the jokes in these reviews. So Tala takes Lokar to that post World War II simulation and ends up teaching him how to dance. Like a human, because she used to date one. And it was pretty sweet. They danced to a song called There Will Be Bluebirds Over the White Cliffs of Dover. Performed by Gene Miller and his orchestra. And they kiss a bunch, and then she's called away by Kelly. And Clyden enters, revealing that he knows what Lokar's been doing.
Well, does he say, I know what you're doing, or does he say, I know what you are?
Oh, I know what you are. You're right.
Yeah, I think that's what he says.
Exactly. That's what he says. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So I didn't really mention this earlier, but the cookies were from Cassius to Kelly. Because that's part of the subplot that Cassius is trying to get Kelly back. And now
Yes.
he sent her a Catrudian named Grugan. And Grugan is voice acted by Bruce Willis, uncredited, except on Twitter.
Interesting. And he just retired from acting, so yeah, we won't see this recurring character.
No. Oh, right. I had forgotten all about that. That
Yep.
he's got a problem.
Yeah,
Oh, poor
unfortunately.
guy. Well, she has Tala just remove the plant. Eh, he's a pretty noisy flower person. Well, we might see other flower people though. That's a cool way to get a phone in big celebrity. Just to have him play a CG character.
Exactly. It doesn't even have to spend a day on the set, right?
Mhm. And Tala returns and can't find Lokar. She's not on the ship, and he is not on the ship according to her scans. And he also didn't leave by shuttle. And on the simulator, you can play playback of previous times, even with the images of the people that were there at the time, except that the figure is masked, so Tala can't see who it is. And to the audience and Tala, though, the audience though thinks it's Clyden, but let's see.
So it's basically our little murder mystery here.
Yeah, a little mini murder mystery. It looks like Lokar's been murdered,
Mm-hmm.
and the safeties of the simulator had been turned off because the phaser was turned. It turned out it was holographic.
Right. And the reason why she cannot see the intruder is because it was intentionally wiped or covered or deleted, or so not deleted completely, but they'll explain that.
Yeah, right. They will. If it were Clyden, it wouldn't be much of a mystery. So I'm pretty sure most people knew it wasn't him, but not what really was. So Tala takes it to Captain Mercer and they have a conference. And she's truthful about having dated Lokar. So Rechik gets really outraged by this and takes it out on her. And even Bortus thinks dating Lokar was a bad idea. And so Tala gets angry at him too for that. But since Monkless is already pretending to have a all male population, then it follows that they'd also pretend to that it's not possible for anyone to be attracted to these women that they're trying to hide.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like an analogy to being gay, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's an analogy. Yep, exactly. That's what science fiction's supposed to do an analogy, not a straight here's today
In your
or
face,
here's
and here's what you
yesterday.
should think, right?
Yeah, right. It doesn't do that. So, Isaac and Lamar are trying to piece together the distorted image by building it layer by layer, with the danger that this method could destroy all the data, but it doesn't, and we see Clyden. However, in the brig, Clyden denies this, and he says he just wanted to turn Lokar in. And here Tala is talking to Lamar and Gordon, and Lamar suggests that it's weird that how easy it was to clear up that image, and concluded that someone wanted Clyden to be blamed.
Yes, possible framed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and a scene I didn't catch here. Yeah, I didn't get the scene. Tala apologizes to Bortus for their argument earlier because she had referenced what happened to his daughter. And
Yes.
Bortus reveals, oh yeah? Go ahead.
I was gonna say you have a new visitor in the chat.
Oh, I have a new visitor in the chat. Hey, hello, Comic Relief Crusader. You made it. How are
Hello
you doing
there.
today?
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. So, Tala says, okay, so what happens here is that she apologizes to Bortus, and Bortus explains that their tradition sustained Mockless as they were trying to get through living in a barren world, which um, which aligns with the other aspect of Mocklin physiology that allows them to eat non-food non-food items and get sustenance from them.
Yes.
So Tala says that if she had to live with those traditions, she'd kill herself, which Bortus reveals is a crime that would cause punishment for the entire family. And hearing this helps Tala solve the case. All she's missing is Data's corncob pipe from Sherlock Holmes. Tala figures out what looks like a murder was just a simulation by Lokar, so he could fake his own death and get out of a lifetime of imprisonment and prevent it looking like a suicide so his family would be okay.
Yes.
So they realize they have to search the ship manually since he rendered their comm scanners useless. And so we get an image of everyone getting ready to look around the ship. And Tala looks in the shuttle and finds Lokar here. And it looked like he had cloaked himself, which was a neat trick. And he actually explains that it wasn't a personal cloak. He says, by reducing the field radius, your shuttle's cloaking device can be focused like a lens. It's interesting.
Well, it's an interesting concept,
Yeah,
but
light
if you don't,
reflection.
right, but it just seems like them being in the shuttle bay, and there is a shuttle bay attendant up, which they showed in the next scene in the window up above. It just seems like they would notice if the cloaking device had been activated on that ship or any kind of power surge. But I don't know. Not going to ask those
Hey,
questions.
that's a good question. I know. I that's where we're here for those kind of questions. I appreciate that. Some
But
ensign wasn't doing his job. He must have been playing video games.
well, they could have explained in a line in an easy line. She could have said, or something like, I don't know why they didn't detect you here, or the warp field, or the not the warp field, but the cloaking device, and he could say, I modified their display or their console so they wouldn't see it or something, right? Because he's an
Hmm.
engineer, he would have known how to do that.
Right. Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could do anything. So that there's no excuse to just give him, whatever kind of engineering power you want. Especially since he was the one who wrote the manual for some of the engineering done in the engine room.
Right, right, and just like with the well, it's not the holodeck, but whatever they call it, but he's basically able to hide his tracks.
Yep.
So yeah.
And he reveals that he framed Clyden because he knew that Clyden wanted to turn him in. But Tala is right that even still, that Clyden shouldn't be charged with murder, which is what would happen
Well,
if
it's
Tala
sad.
pretended.
I kind of disagree with the wording that they gave her character because she said, "I can't let him go to jail." I think it should have been, "I won't let him go to jail," but I don't know. I know she's looking at it like on personal level.
Yeah, she is. She's looking at him personally because she cares about him, but
Right.
she does put her professionality first,
Yes.
which is um so I appreciate that, even though she really cares for him. I actually did like that dialogue because it showed that she really does care for him, but she doesn't let those emotions compromise her from doing her job correctly.
Correct. Yes.
And Tala tries to convince Lokar to request asylum on the Orville, but it looks like Lokar's already thought of that, or he wouldn't have gone out of his way to frame Clyden. And
Well,
Lokar doesn't.
He states that it would still be a life of hiding, and he doesn't want to be hiding.
Yes. Yes. I would have gone somewhere else. I don't I wouldn't go back to Muckless.
Well, he could have said, "Well, I don't want to stay here, but can you drop me off at Cestus 3 or whatever?"
Yeah, right. There's got to be somewhere else.
Right, or some other
There's got to be
planet. Okay,
some better
right.
place.
But they're showing that he has honor and he wants to atone for his, I guess,
Mhm.
sins. I don't know.
But he doesn't have any sins. He
Not
just
no, not in our eyes, but the way they look at it, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah, if he cares about the traditions on his world and then he feels guilty about it, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, you got a new
But that's a
visitor.
shame. But Cassius is gone. I didn't even put a clip of him. He's gone to another ship. So the B story, that's why I didn't really talk about that B story that much. Because it was just a way for Ed and Kelly to start talking more.
It was, and pass the time to the next episode. You have a new visitor in the chat who seems to have
Yes.
something to say.
Yes, hello to Dalek451. He says, Phew. Hi, Jill. Thank you for doing a calm stream where you're not just shouting about how bad everything is. Oh.
No, we're
You're
not
welcome,
covering Strange
Dalek.
New Worlds. No, we're covering the Orville
No,
today.
okay, yeah. We talked about that a little bit before the show started. Yeah, I don't really want to. I don't really want to get into that. And even if I did, I wouldn't be shouting.
No,
Even
I
if I
cannot
didn't.
imagine that.
Even though I didn't like it either.
Oh, and Dalek, I ordered that mouse you recommended. I like it. I got it yesterday, and it looks just like a Mocklin shuttlecraft.
Yes, we found out it looks just like a Mocklin shuttlecraft.
Right.
Here, let me show you, Dalek. Here, let's go all the way back.
Right, take a look at this shuttlecraft, Dalek.
Yeah. It's all the way at the beginning over here, but it's worth it because look at this shuttlecraft right there.
There it is. Look at that. It looks
Yeah,
just like the
see?
mouse almost.
Yeah, it looks like the mouse that you got, Dalek, that Pop Culture also got. And hello in the chat to JT Kirk. Made it for a few minutes between meetings. Hail Jill and great show.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you
in the
very
chat.
much. And hello to Captain Cockney Spock. Everything is great all the time, right now, all the time.
As long as we don't watch New Trek, everything is fantastic. Yes.
Yes. I'm just trying not to think about New Trek, even though Dalek made me think about
Happy
it.
thoughts. Happy thoughts. Right.
Happy Mocklin shuttle mouse thoughts. Okay, and then I go back to the end here.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. No, I wanted to show Dalek that it looks just like his mouse apparently. And just like that, and just like Lokar was, he was basically blaming Tala. Tala then actually, I didn't get a clip of it, but it was a really great scene where Tala blames Clyden for his prejudice here for what's happened to Lokar.
Which I thought that was very awkward and not right. I don't think Clyden deserved it. Clyden was a victim in this episode, if anything, but
a victim of his own culture and tradition.
What she did was she took her hatred of that race out on Clyden like it was his fault.
Yeah,
and that's what
but he was going. Well, Bortus was also from Mockless, and he didn't rat on Lokar like Clyden was going to. So I think it really was kind of Clyden's fault.
Okay.
I don't know. He didn't have to do that. But it, I mean, even Bortus doesn't really look like he wants to look at Clyden at the end either. But that's the end of the episode.
Right, they'll be fine by next week.
Yeah, right. Everything will be fine by next week.
That's
so
what did you think?
What did you think of the episode, Pop Culture Curator?
I liked it. I would probably give it maybe a C.
Yeah, C. Yeah, that seems about right. Oh, and I forgot to put in the chat. I wanted to put a poll in the chat, and I completely forgot.
Oh, never too late.
Yeah, it's not too late. I'm right in the middle of the show, so let's do it. I'm gonna put the poll here. Although I already know the answer to this, I mean, it's obvious. Like, who's gonna pick the other one? Although I'm not gonna say. It's pretty obvious which one's gonna win. Kind of not fair. Because I'm already in a hurry to get started on the next one.
Oh, the next one's a good one.
Yes. The next one is a sci-fi one. The one Dalek's been waiting for this entire season. So I'm gonna close this one out and reshare the new slideshow.
There we go. Yeah, I think we know the results of the poll, but I went ahead and voted. Anyway.
I wish I could vote. I can't vote.
No. Well, you gotta be non-biased, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Guy's the creator of the poll, cannot vote in the poll.
Nope.
Oh. The cake is out of order. But yeah, this episode also has cake. But everybody loves cake, so why not have it first?
Exactly.
So hello also in the chat to Ploxford. How are you guys doing today?
Hey,
How are you
Ploxford.
And hello to I Love Food. I'm glad you love food because the first episode had cupcakes with little Orvilles on them.
Oh, and delicious cookies. The cookie basket, remember?
Yeah, the cookies that look like flowers. So Ed got to take those back to his quarters.
Right, the whole basket.
He's like, these are really good. She's like, take it all.
Right, and that was a funny scene because obviously she didn't want to look at them because of, they were basically a bribe, and she's trying to end the relationship. And Ed's like, "Oh, okay, I'll take them then," and he takes the whole basket.
Whoa! I love food, loves food, but he does not like sweets.
Ooh, okay.
Interesting.
I was talking about my chocolate.
Oh no, chocolate's great. Deanna Troy says chocolate is a very serious thing. and hello in the chat to Darius Munchausen.
Hello, Darius.
Hi.
Great to see you.
Yeah, really great to see you. I hope everyone's having a really good day.
Yeah, you got a great turnout here. Some really nice people.
Oh, the best people ever. Bestest ever.
And you guys are all here at the right time. We're going to get into the best episode, in my opinion, of the entire show, season, or series. But I don't want to give away too much.
Well, you give it away just by giving the title here. The title of the episode is Identity. Identity first aired on February 21st, 2019. And this episode was written by by Brandon Braga and Andrew Bormanis from Star Trek. The episode was directed by John Caesar, or Caesar. I think it's Caesar. Today, I'll even mention the composer, who is John Debney. And I didn't realize that I must really particularly love the music in this episode because the last episode dragged. I hadn't noticed that myself.
I agree. This does have better music, yes. And just get your heart pumping here.
Yeah, it's a very, very grand operatic music. And he's also done other Orville episodes too. And as it turns out, he is a Star Trek alum too. He wrote music for The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine.
Oh, very cool. That's great to know.
Yeah, I always love when I find more connections to Star Trek because it really shows that the Orville has the true DNA of Star Trek.
Well, I was just reading earlier that, which I don't think I knew previously, is the doctor here on the Orville. She was in Deep Space Nine and Next Generation, right?
I don't think she was on Next Generation. If she was, I don't know.
She was, yeah. I don't know if it was a big role, but
I know that she was on Deep Space Nine. She was Cassidy Yates.
Yes.
The love interest of Captain Sisko.
Oh, cool.
And she was a captain herself, though not a Starfleet captain. She was more like a mercenary captain. Oh, wow. Hey, And another lovely guest is here in the chat. Hello. Hello to Mark D with the C. How are you doing today? And Sandra Feliciano. Very cool. So Isaac and the boys are playing Bolon discs, and it looks like a really fun take on 3D chess. Maybe actually this looks more like 3D checkers. And
It did remind me of that as well, right?
yeah. Yeah, just
Oh,
a
and by the
holographic.
way, I just looked it up. She was in Next Generation episode Homeward as Dobara. I'm just not.
Oh.
It's a Dobara as Penny Johnson, but I'm not familiar enough with TNG to remember what episode that was.
Oh.
Homeward.
Actually, I don't
Mm.
remember what that is either, and I
Any,
watched TNG
yeah, any of you guys in
very
the chat
recently.
remember which episode Homeward was of TNG?
Oh, wait. Okay. I think that's the one where Wesley makes he has a science experiment that creates life. Oh god, Wesley.
That explains
Okay.
why your memory is trying to erase it as we speak.
Oh goodness gracious. Um yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that one at all.
Well, despite that, we still like the actress anyway.
Yes, we love her. I'll just remember her as Casty Yates. I'll continue to do that. And actually, the director about this game says there's no set rules for the game, but that they're certain that some fans might figure it out for them.
I'm sure there's somebody who probably spent many hours trying to figure it out.
I wonder if I would love to talk to that person. I want to play it, but not against Isaac because he always wins. And then Isaac collapses. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Before he collapses, Claire finally has the "mommy is dating a robot" speech, but they already know and approve. But then Isaac collapses, and he appears to, just deactivate. They think he's dead.
Right, total loss of power.
And there's the end of the cold open. And Darius Munchausen says that Penny was also from 24. She was the first Lady Palmer.
Yes, and also apparently in the show 4400.
She likes those numbers. JT Kirk says, never cared for Casty Yates. The line behind Ben Sisko's back to me was pretty bad.
Is that the character or the actress?
Well, the character. That's the character. Casty Yates is the character.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Captain Cockney Spock says, on Picard, they play 1D chess. I did not get past episode 3 of Picard.
I'm surprised they can figure out
season 2.
checkers on Picard, let alone
Right?
chess here.
Checkers. Okay, so they can't find any power trouble, viruses, or any other reason that Isaac seems dead. But they're smart enough to know that he might not be dead because they have no idea what they're doing. And as they have no idea what they're doing, Ed from that gets the idea to take Isaac back to his homeworld where his people would know how to repair him. And as Admiral Halsey says they've never been able to visit before, but if they can, they could become a great ally against the Krill if they join the Union. So that's what they do. And in going to this Kalon's planet, they're going to be outside of Union communication range.
Right. They do bring up the fact that it's very far from Earth apparently.
Yeah.
And I guess they don't have outposts or transceivers.
Yeah, because the Union is pretty small. I think in the very first episode of this this series, they mention how many ships they have, and it is not very many. I forget
That's
how many.
true. That's true, and they're not exactly allies with the Kalons yet. So,
Right.
is it Kalons?
Well, they don't know anything about them because they won't let them visit.
You're right, exactly.
So Captain Mercer opens a channel with the Kalon, and he tells them that Isaac is shut down, and in response, the Kalon shuts down all their power and begins to scan the ship. And then the powers returned, and they are given landing coordinates. So we get to see the Kalon home world for the first time.
And we get to see the Orville actually land.
Yeah, right. And the Orville enter atmosphere on purpose.
Yes.
So
on
apparently that's
purpose.
the thing this ship can do. Well, yeah. Usually when something's entering the atmosphere on these sci-fi shows, they're crashing. So I have to
Right.
specifically say they're doing this on purpose. They're not crashing.
Right. This isn't Troy flying the ship.
Troy is not flying the ship.
Right.
Riker is not in command. Everybody calm down. And the comic relief crusader agrees with J.T. Kirk's assessment of Cassidy Yates, saying, yeah, it was like she was calling the shots at times. I'm going to be doing a rewatch of Deep Space Nine soon, so I'll get back to you on that one. I know I liked her in the Take Me Out to Hollow Suites episode.
I wonder if Bird of Prey has covered that episode yet. I need to try to check it out.
He's covered all of Deep Space Nine. If you want to sync your copies of Deep Space Nine with his streams, he's got a stream for every episode. He's almost through season 7.
Oh, so is that
I
the end
think
of the show? Is that the last
Yeah,
season?
season 7 is the last season. So
Okay.
he's been doing watch parties for years.
Yeah, he has. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah. So Captain Cognyspock says, well, okay, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, he says El Hoko. Wi-Fi Nation invented 1D chess, and I made a board. It's a 1x8 square. Okay, it's a joke. It's a joke that they've made about Star Trek Patrick Stewart. That they play 1D chess. And Mark DVC says, you're going the wrong way. Yeah, I know. It's so weird for the ship to be entering orbit. So this is Kalon. And coming here.
You know, it makes sense. It's a robot planet because there's no green. They wouldn't care about trees or grass or anything like that. Organic, it's all metal and machines. It totally makes sense.
Yes. Yes, it definitely does. So yes, that's what they're doing. They're landing. They're going to those coordinates. And we definitely get to see that the planet does just look like a big circuit. It could be the inside of a computer. They bring Isaac to the Kalons after they land here. I like the little docking mechanisms that the building has. And the Kalon primary, this is the building. And we see all the Kalons working on something on these walls.
This reminds me of Metropolis.
I don't know exactly how they're manipulating the data here, but they're doing something.
Right.
And they're distracted by the entrance of Isaac. He's come home. And they bring Isaac to the Kalons. Kalon primary greets him and tells him that Isaac was only deactivated. And they further reiterate that the same thing that Isaac's been saying the whole time, that he was on the Orville to study biological beings, which was true. They will take Isaac, apparently they're going to take him apart and reintegrate him. And
Jill, I was going to ask you, the
yeah,
doctor. Is
yes, the
is
doctor.
she her character? Is it an alien or?
Well, Cassidy Yates is not an alien. No, she's human.
So the doctor character is human in this show.
In this show, yes. Dr. Finn is human.
Well, because I don't know if you noticed, but in a couple scenes, her right ear, you know how you can kind of see it peeking out from under her hair.
Yeah.
She has scar tissue around the ear, and I wasn't
Oh,
sure if it was makeup or not.
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's either, yeah. If she's an alien, then I thought, well, maybe it's like alien ears or something like that, because she also has like an earring kind of clamped in that same ear. But unless she's playing a human, I don't know. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I'm pretty sure she's human. So the crew explained that they don't really like the idea of Isaac being taken apart because they kind of like him.
The way he is.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, right. They don't want to lose him.
And of course, nobody mentions how Isaac is the only one who has blue lights, and they all have red lights
Uh-huh.
below there.
Right.
You have to be able to tell them apart. And I do like the idea of the attention to detail. When they hired the extras, they're all the same height,
Oh, yeah, they are
which
pretty much the same height, which is pretty
right,
neat.
which would make sense, right? If they were mass produced, yes. If they would have been different heights and shapes and sizes, they really wouldn't wouldn't
Yeah,
make
they're all
any sense.
basically the same build. That's brilliant to
Hmm.
notice that kind of thing. And the Kalon take him away to check out his circuitry, and the device they had on, um, they put a device on him that ends up waking him up, and they're doing something in there. I don't know. Oh, they're analyzing the data. That's what they're doing. They're taking the
Right.
data, all the data that Isaac gathered, and they're figuring it out.
So that tells you what they're doing with the wall. Apparently, they're maybe that's part of the
Yeah,
analyzing. It's the analysis room or something.
yeah. This is all the data from all the worlds they've messed around with.
And Ed does ask, "Don't you have chairs?"
There are no chairs.
Right. No, no
I
need to
don't have.
sit.
Yeah, robots don't need to sit down.
No, they don't need to rest.
Yeah, and Isaac reveals that now the experiment's over, he's going to stay on Kalon. But Claire convinces him to say goodbye to the kids, and they don't. Um, Marcus seems okay, but Ty doesn't take it very well. And Isaac gives them a little speech telling them to consume your daily required nutrients and obey your mother's commands. The Kalan don't believe joining the Union would benefit them. But Mercer argues that they'd be part of an alliance for exploration. But the Kalan see humans. I think the Kalan are seeing the humans kind of like the way the Q did in the pilot in Next Generation, because they don't see them as they see them as savages, and they see them as backwards.
Yes.
Because they say on your planet alone, billions have been killed as a consequence of war, slavery, genocide, and persecution. Greed, individualism, and competition have been the governing principles of your society. And the Kaons ask if the Union cycle of tyranny is over, and Ed says, "Yeah, it's been. We have 300 worlds that we treat as equals." But the Kaon think that the Orville that there's evidence that the Orville was abusing Isaac, citing the pranks that Gordon would play on Isaac, like the Mr. Potato Head.
Right. I guess they interpret it as abuse because they don't have sense of humor, so they didn't understand the point.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know that. They don't under. So Isaac's collection of humor and his explanation of humor and jokes was not complete enough for them to figure that out. But then things still seem okay at this part of the episode. So Tala brings Isaac Okay, I need just a second here. Okay. I need to plug up my computer. My laptop is running out of power.
Go for it.
Okay, we should be plugged in. I'm waiting for that little icon to tell me that it's plugged in, but it's not doing that for me. Okay, sorry about that. I just didn't want to die in the middle of my stream here. Okay, I think I got it. I got it
Gotcha.
now. Wait, is the Orville floating in the planet's atmosphere? Yeah, I don't know the science of why the Orville can just enter the atmosphere like that, but it can. Scotty, we need more power, says Mark D with the C. Thank you. Yes, we got some more power. Just for Mark D with the C, I'm gonna play a little more of that clip from earlier that I was playing. I didn't play the whole thing. Okay. That was for the first episode that we played. There was a scene that reminded me of that. So that's why I had that ready to go. So anyway,
Cool.
yeah. Yeah, so I just played that for Mark D with C because he's our Scotty.
And this is the
So
part where they ask him to get up and make a speech, right?
yeah, he makes a speech here.
Do you recognize the speech?
No, I didn't recognize the speech.
Yeah. Let's just say it's a very infamous speech by Sally Field at the Academy Awards.
Yeah, I did look it up later to learn that, but I
It was
didn't know it
when
offhand.
when the Academy Award for Best Actress for the movie Norma Ray, and
Mhm.
she said everything he said were, you like me, you really, but then she went off the deep end. She goes, you like me, you really, really like me, you like me, you like me, and I'm sure you can find the meme on YouTube. Yes, it turned
Well,
into a
I mean,
joke, which she
it's
regretted.
kind of funny for him to say that because he's saying, "Right now, you like me,"
Well, yeah, which is what she
indicating that
said.
you're not going to like me later.
Right.
Um,
Well, she said
and
it because she had been shunned by the Academy because they saw her as the flying nun and Gidget and all this kind of stuff. So she was never taken seriously. That was the reason
right.
why she said it the way she
Oh,
did.
I see.
Yeah, she was
Wow,
basically a TV actress before winning the Norma Ray Academy Award. Part.
interesting. Yeah, no, that's okay. This is 1984, so it's before my life, so I
Oh
didn't know
yeah,
about
and
it.
I don't know if you know who she is. She's played for
Um,
you
oh,
young kids. She was Aunt May in one of the Spider-Man iterations.
oh
Unfortunately, one
yeah,
of the bad ones.
very cool.
But she
Oh,
played a really good movie called Sybil, where she had split personalities, and that kind of showed her acting range, which really kind of broke her through to theatrical movies.
neat. Yeah, I did write down the speech. It's a modification of Sally's speech. It says, "I wanted more than anything to have your respect, and I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me."
But right, but then she actually continued. You really, really like me. You really, and it was like groan-inducing, but it was funny.
Yeah. And then also in this scene, Gordon sings a song and he does a really great job. He
Yeah,
really
not
does
bad.
sing. He really does sing and he really does
Oh,
play music. There are so many talented people on the show.
he sounded better than I would.
Oh, yeah, me too. So Bortis, this is one of those meme. This is one of those scenes that turned into that meme about Bortis wanting the corner piece. I do not want that piece.
He wants the flower.
Yeah, he wants the flower. Well, who doesn't? But after a certain age, you kind of stop asking for the corner.
I
but
know.
but
Let the
but
kids
Bortis
have
does. Right, exactly.
it.
But here, Bortis is the kid.
Right.
And yeah,
Oh, here's the
that's it.
speech. I'm sorry. I guess I spoke up too soon.
No, that's okay. We already talked about it. You did a good job.
Yeah, for all of you out there, check out the speech on YouTube by Sally Field, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah. And then, of course, Claire has her second goodbye here with him. And Ty gives
Can you go
him
back to that last shot?
Yeah, sure. Oh, right. Yeah.
That may be the scene where you can see the scar tissue in the front of her ear. I can't, but it's a scene like that where you can tell they're trying to cover it up. So,
I
but
see
there
what
is
you're
a scene
saying.
where
I
you can
did
see it
kind of
clearly.
notice that, but I didn't really think much of it until you mentioned it.
But there's a scene.
She might
Yeah,
have
you
some
can't.
kind of injury there that we don't know about.
Yeah, you can't see it so much in this shot, but there are other shots in this episode where you can get it. There's more light. But that's why I was thinking maybe she's playing an alien of some sort, but I guess not. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Darius says everybody knows Sally Field, right? And well, let's see if I do know her. I'm gonna see if I know anything she's in. I'm sure I know
If
something
you have to
from
look
her.
it up, it's probably
Forrest
not.
Gump, yeah. See, I know Forrest Gump.
There you
So
go.
she was
Forrest
Jenny.
Gump. Yeah. And for us
Okay.
old people, she was in Smokey and the Bandit.
See, that's what I would know her from because that was a '90s movie.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
she
that's
was
good
in
enough for me.
Amazing Spider-Man.
I don't want to spend too much time on it.
She was Andrew Garfield's aunt in Amazing Spider-Man. Those two movies before that was canceled.
And Captain Cockney Spock says, "At last, I have a physics verisimilitude problem with the Orville." You know what? It's kind of bothering me too because the Enterprise could never, like, on purpose enter the atmosphere like that. But the Orville is a different ship. It has different physics. I'm gonna have to look it up myself. I really don't know.
I asked Bird that
I,
question just a couple weeks ago. We were talking about the Enterprise when it hits the atmosphere, especially the TOS version, and then he said, "Well, probably thrusters." But it's like, okay,
right. Yeah. It accidentally entered the atmosphere, so it has to get out somehow. And it even lost warp engine the one time it entered the atmosphere on TOS, but it wasn't on purpose, like it's here. So,
no, but it was for the episode with Gary 7.
Oh, right. Well, so was the time travel on purpose, but I don't want to get Captain Cockney Spock going off.
No, I know, but that episode starts with them already at Earth in the 1960s because they were going to introduce that new series with Gary 7 and Terry Garb, which didn't go anywhere. But
right, it was a soft pilot or hidden pilot or something.
Yeah.
And then 50 years later, they try to use a weird pilot for a series that was never made for Star Trek STP. Anyway, I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Anyway, Mark D with the C has some convention stuff for us here. He says at New York Comic Con 2019 at the Orville panel, they were joking about a musical episode, and Grimes started to sing. Cool.
I wonder if it was the same song as this one.
And Captain Cockney Spock says, "How about an unexplored frontier?" Oh. Okay. Darius says, "No, Sally was Forrest's mother." Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Who were you thinking she was?
I said Jenny.
Oh, no.
Okay. I don't know anything. Cockney Sock says, "I have a new topic for a live stream. Thank you." Oh, you're welcome. Well, I'm going to have to help you on that one because I can't do any research on it now, but I'm going to help defend Orville's honor here. Okay. Anyway, if they're deliberately going into the atmosphere, you can be sure that the science consultants had thought about it. Anyway, Isaac says, "All right, he did the speech. Ty gives him the strine, and it's really cute, but Isaac doesn't really care about it. He looks at it. He's just, yeah, right. He really, it's so adorable."
Well, it is. It's great, and it looks honest like it's really done by one of those kids. But he doesn't understand the emotional connection because he doesn't have that. So that's the lack there.
Right. You're right. And Ty doesn't understand that emotional disconnect either.
Well,
And
and being a computer, basically all Isaac has to do is just look at it and store it in his memory. He no longer needs
that
the
was another thing I
material.
was thinking of too. Is that
Yeah,
he looks at it for longer than he has to, as
yes,
if he is trying to remember it.
right, and then store it because he can't take it back with him. I doubt he has like a little area where he lives on this
Uh-huh.
planet that has pictures hanging on the wall, right?
Right. And Claire, okay, so that's it. And Bortus has found many large spherical objects on Kalan, and that they're making more and more. They're making lots of these objects all over the place, giving off lots of theta radiation. And Ty is on the simulator up a tree. He's upset about Isaac that he didn't even take his picture with him.
Right, he found it in the hallway.
Yeah, so Claire's done what lots of mothers have to do is climb a tree. And she climbs the tree better than I still do.
Yeah, she's older than I am. I'm like, okay, I'm jealous.
I am, I know, right? Like I could still climb a tree, but with more I don't look that graceful.
Yeah, they'd have to use waifu for me.
Um so so Claire thinks that she has to explain to him that Isaac doesn't have any feelings, which is why he rejected the picture. But Ty counters that it seemed like he did have feelings because he played games, he told stories, and came to dinner, which were all things he definitely didn't need to do. But we know he was doing it to study biological life. Well, Ty does come down from the tree, but not to go to school. He doesn't end up going to school. He ends up leaving the ship, and he's wandering around the building looking for Isaac. But we are through this scene we get to hear some of the digital language that the Kalons use when speaking to each other.
That's true. And we also learned that they don't have sensors. All they know is what they see through their eyes, apparently, and they don't see this kid.
Yeah, right. They really exactly.
But
That is a
you
very
gotta
good
have
point.
it's the plot. You
Well,
gotta
yeah, just
give it.
being this close to him, they should be beeline right
Oh,
for him.
yeah, they should automatically detect a human right in their presence. They shouldn't even have to rely on line of sight. But I'm
Yeah,
not gonna ruin the plot, right?
right. No, that is a pretty bad point right there.
This
That
reminds me
good
so
job.
much. It reminds me of the old Lost in Space series because Will Robinson would be the kid always escaping off the ship and into the alien area, and they have to go looking for him. So it reminded me of
Yeah,
Lost in Space.
yeah. Or you know, kids are usually able to be invisible, but that makes sense if the offending party is also biological. But for a robot to not notice, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, but forgivable.
Yeah, of course, because we like this episode. So he goes inside the chute, and the top closes down on him, and he
And
drops his picture. Oh yeah,
this reminds me of the original movie, The Time Machine.
oh yeah.
Yeah, because he basically there's things just like this, but that's where the Morlocks live down below, and he
Oh, the
doesn't know what's down there.
subterranean,
Right? He doesn't know what's down there, but he has to go down there.
right?
So I don't
Because
know. It
he
kind of
he
reminded me
dropped
of that.
something too.
Well, no, there he's going down there to rescue somebody.
Oh,
But you can
okay.
hear the machines down there, and he knows he has to enter down there, and it's dangerous. He doesn't know what to find.
Right, he hears stuff down here too.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. Yeah,
Maybe this is taken from that a little bit. I didn't notice that.
possible. Well, I recommend it. The original Time Machine with Rod Taylor,
Cool.
produced by George Patton, directed by George Powell.
Yeah, I think I've seen bits and pieces of that, like just not all straight through though.
It has the most beautiful time machine out of any
I
time
think that's
traveling
what I
movie.
think that's what I've seen for sure.
Yeah, it's like a
That
sleigh. It's like a sleigh that's modified. It's really very cool. It's very steampunk, like
mhm.
1800s style.
So So meanwhile, the Kaon are obviously stringing Ed along, providing nothing of consequence. They say they're still deliberating, but it doesn't usually take Isaac this long to make a decision. So you can tell already that they really don't want to join the Union. And Ed is figuring out that much too. Claire discovers that Ty's missing, and she knows that he went to go look for Isaac. And they find him pretty quickly, Bortus does. And so
I was gonna say you went right from the scene of her saying, "Where is he?" Right to, "Oh, there he is."
Yeah,
they
well,
basically trapped him. Right.
well, it kind of makes sense. It's not like he has to shift through many different humanoids. It's just like, oh, we're the only human on the planet. There he is.
Right. So they basically followed his life signs.
Right.
So I guess that we can say that, all right, to give this show the benefit of the doubt, maybe
that one I can give him. That
right,
one
maybe the androids don't have those detectors because they're not used to having humans on the planet, right?
Oh, yeah, right. And
But they
Ty,
used to, though. That's right. That's right.
so yeah, so Ty ends up finding something. So they find that there are mountains of humanoid bones in these tunnels, and there are tunnels all over the planet that they end up finding. So there ends up to be like billions of these bones all over the place, all over the planet, very cleanly stacked. So of course, so at this point, I was thinking the crew was gonna rush back to their ship and fly away, but they didn't do that.
No.
They confront Isaac and the primary Kalan about this. They reveal that the Kalan once lived with billions of biological humanoids, their creators. However, the Kalan encountered conflict with their creators that they couldn't solve, so they believed they had to kill them all. So yeah, obviously now they know that the Kalan don't want to join the Union. They try to leave, but these Kalan get in the way, and they've basically taken them prisoner. And we find out that Isaac was only ever telling part of the truth. His mission was to study biological life forms, but the purpose was to determine whether or not they were worth preserving. Kalons intend to pass judgment on all biological life forms, so my analogy to Q was actually kind of accurate. If they're judging creatures and determining by that whether or not they are allowed to exist.
Yes.
So finally, Ed tells Orville to leave, but that he's way too late.
He gets cut off, right? He gets a couple words in.
He gets cut off. I mean, I would have told the Orville to leave as soon as I saw those piles of bones everywhere.
All right.
But they take the ship and are headed for Earth in next week's episode. So in this episode, the actor who plays Isaac, Mark Jackson, he actually had classes where he taught 30 other add-ons, how to walk, how to talk, and how to move like Kalans. And the best students got to be up front in the shots next to Isaac.
Very cool. I was wondering about that.
And also, those head guns they got, they're CGI After Effects. And say they were these little green things to tell where to put them. So where the guns are supposed to go.
Right, the green screen or gamma.
Yeah, and so from this, we know that Isaac was lying all along back in that episode, Priya, when he tried to say that his eyes were just aesthetic.
Yes.
So clearly that's not true. And so we find out that those spherical objects are in fact spaceships.
Yes.
So here we go. They're all headed to Earth here, ready to invade.
Great shot.
I know, right? I think that's to be continued.
That's a good cliffhanger. I definitely
Right.
wants to leave you anticipating the
I
next
know,
one.
right? Like I should have done Deflectors and whatever comes after Identity together and put these two together in one
Kind
show.
of cheated.
Uh-huh.
Well, guess what? Maybe this will make everybody in the chat who's here tune in next week to watch the
Maybe.
next review.
Or they'll just go to Hulu and watch the whole two things together.
Well, even if you do, even if you go to Hulu and watch it, everybody come back next week and watch our review anyway.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, what did you think of this episode, Pop Culture Curator? What were some of your favorite parts, or did I miss something that you liked?
No, I liked it all. I would say this is the reason why, and Dalek is here to to witness this. This is the reason why I think a lot of the earlier episodes in this season were a little slow. I think they were saving up a lot of the money and budget and effects for this episode, and especially the next one. I don't want to give away a lot, but I like this episode. I would give it an A.
Yes, I
Between
give
this
this one an
one,
A too.
yeah, between this one and the next one, they're definitely my two favorite episodes of the entire series so far.
And this is probably going to be my most imbalanced poll ever. so see, yeah, that's why I should have put Identity parts 1 and 2 together, because it would have been more interesting to see which episode won between those two rather than Deflectors. Nobody,
Well,
I'm surprised anyone picked Deflectors. No,
some of
nothing
them did,
against you
yeah.
for liking it though. It's
No, no,
okay.
yeah, some of them liked
I'm
it.
glad you're
So,
here and you voted.
and you were and
But
being
why?
honest,
Why did you do that? No, just kidding.
right? In your honesty, aren't you glad it's anonymous?
Yeah, right. So Dalek says Deflectors was the episode where Botus's mate committed murder, right?
Or he was,
Uh, well, he was
right?
suspected for murder. Yeah,
Right, he had been
he
framed.
didn't.
Yes,
Yeah, he was framed for murder, but really his only crime was bigotry. Okay, and then JT Kirk. This was a truly grim and horrifying find that I didn't see coming from a mile away. Very effective writing. Yeah, me too.
it was good. Yes.
And that was a really creepy scene. Danger, Will Robinson.
That's from Lost in Space.
And Darius says, the Kalon are kind of scary, aren't they?
I would say absolutely. When you know that, considering the fact that they're stronger and smarter.
Yeah, just one Kalon isn't scary, but you put that many all together, the whole planet is very intimidating. Very, you know, you're outpowered there. JT Kirk says, a nod to the Zindi in Star Trek Enterprise.
Is that true? I have not seen. Not familiar with Enterprise.
I haven't seen Enterprise in a long time. I'm going to rewatch it eventually. So I don't remember any of the plot lines in Enterprise, but I did like Enterprise. I just didn't watch it more than once, so I have to watch it again.
Gotcha.
I mostly just remember that episode where Trip got pregnant.
I didn't make it past the first episode, but okay.
Anyway, the Comic Relief Crusader says, here's where I have to catch up.
Absolutely. Try to get caught up before the new season starts.
Yes. And Sandra says, Shades of Cylon. Darius says, what's the best way to binge watch the Orville? I'd say Hulu. I mean, I don't know if that, or you buy the DVDs, because I don't think Clobbering Times told me that they didn't come out with Blu-rays for the Orville, so you'd have to buy DVDs.
Oh, that's a shame.
Or Hulu. So Pop Culture Curator, as I said earlier, we have 23 days until the Orville New Horizons releases on June 2nd.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's especially with Strange New Worlds being another disappointment. This is the only real Trek we have, our closest thing we have to Trek.
Yeah, it really is.
So
it is a disappointment. Like, if you have Strange New Worlds on mute, you can kind of squint your eyes a little bit.
I would say
And
put it
almost
on
see
mute and turn it into a drinking game. Every time you see something stupid, take a swig, and you'll be drunk in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. If you happen to unmute your TV, you'll be dead. So don't do that.
Or at least not till you've had at least 10 shots.
So JT Kirk says physical media is the best way to binge a show.
Absolutely.
And Comic Relief Crusader's going to watch it. And Identity was more than I was hoping for from this show. And I think Pop Culture Curator had it right that they were saving up all of their budget all on this show, and it really paid off because it's a fantastic episode. And I didn't mind, some of the character episodes, the character building that they did in the previous episode.
It was
Previous
sustainable. It
episodes.
wasn't bad. I've seen worse, so
Right.
I can handle it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Pop Culture Curator, I couldn't be more grateful to you for joining me on the show because I know you make this show a lot more fun.
Oh, so glad to be here. Believe me, thank you. It's such an honor as usual.
And I know we really need to get your subscribers back up. So here's part of the show where I put links in the chat for everybody who's here.
Very kind. And I
Um,
will have another video up tonight, folks.
yeah, another video. Ooh, yeah, because you drive around and you visit filming locations and stuff, right?
So far. I'm hoping to branch out and do other things as well, but that's what I have so far.
Yeah, so check out Pop Culture Curator. Make sure you're subbed to him, and thank you for everyone for being here. Thank you to Sandra Feliciano and Dalek 451, and I think I have you under Dalek. Let's see if that's right. Oh wait, can I put that in there? I don't know if my StreamYards works that way. It does. Great to know. And Darius is excited about a car video. Cool. And thank you so much, Darius, for being here. I can't wait till you get your channel back up too. Whatever you want to do. I know you said you were going to change things and things are going to be different, and that's awesome. I can't wait to see. And please also subscribe to the Comic Relief Crusader. He has a wonderful voice. Like he has a great personality, and he's able to talk to himself. He's able to talk to the audience rather, and keep it going. He's really fun.
Nice. Check that out.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a stream later today, right?
Oh.
And also there's Captain Cockney Spock. Yeah. Let's see if I have it, or do I have it under Captain? I forget. And then let's see if we have Mark D with the C under Mark. And Captain Cockney Spock is a fun channel where you can hear all sorts of things from pop culture theories and everything, and YouTube drama and everything in between. But more of the theories and more of the pop culture. Well, who do you think I learned it from, Darius? And yes, the Comic Relief Crusader has a live chat tonight.
Very cool. I will try to check that out. Comic Relief Crusader. I will be there.
And I love Mark D with the C's channel. He's got a really fun Sunday show that I wish I could attend more of. And also lots of fun toy videos, and he shows off all the cool stuff he's got. Yes, Captain Cockney Spock. More theories. Thank you very much. Captain says I had a great show today. And I'm just scrolling back up. Thank you, JT Kirk. It's always great to see you here. And I liked your takes on the episode.
Yeah, it was really fun. 2 good shows or 2 good
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah, 2 good episodes. Next time I have a two-parter, I'm gonna put them together.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'm going to. Even if they're kind of out of order, I'm still gonna put them together.
They may have a 2-parter in the next season. We don't know yet, right?
I think they will. I think it's pretty guaranteed that they were going to do that.
Yeah, it's very likely.
So, but I just hope the whole thing isn't serialized. I hope we get some episodic episodes.
Oh yes, I don't think we'll have any trouble with that. They've kept it pretty tight so far.
And also, thank you to I Love Food and Plock Sword. Always cool to see you guys.
Absolutely.
And LDG here. LDG was our first guest today. And Darius says, I'll be visiting my mom after work, but if I'm home in time, I'll check it out.
Cool. Tell Mom we said hi.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. J.T. Kirk says, Jill, great show today. Loved hanging out, even if it was just for part of it. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Well, you caught the best part. You were here for Identity.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, so that's Oh right, okay. I did announce the poll winner. That's why I have this thing open. The poll winner, of course, is Identity Part 1 by 88% versus Deflectors 12%. Oh. So there's that. That's why I had that one open, so I remembered to announce it. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
If you like
go ahead.
the stream, click like everybody if you like the stream before you leave, and leave a comment if you see this on the rewatch.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed today's episodes, but remember what's even better than my reviews is to go out and watch the Orville yourself to get ready for season 3. And next week we'll continue with season 2 with the episodes 3 and 4, Home and Nothing. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right.
You got the wrong script. And cut.
The wrong script.
And cut.
Okay. No, but I remember what they are, I think. Next week we have obviously Identity Part 2.
Yes.
And also that's episode 9, and episode 10 will be Blood Pirates.
Perfect.
So blood pirates? No, it's Blood of Patriots.
Oh,
that's what happens when I don't write things down. I make major mistakes.
That's okay. We forgive you.
Blood Pirates might be more interesting. I don't know. Oh dear. Okay. Anyway. So I have something I want to show. Okay. So I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to leave you off with this.